All right, let's talk Miami Hurricanes football. It's obviously been one heck of an exciting offseason for Coach Cristobal, and Miami made a lot of great moves in terms of short-term additions, transfer portal. 2024 class was strong, and the 2025 class, the out years are looking great as well. And to that end, Miami has just made a massive move on that front in terms of getting the commitment of offensive lineman Jaden Wilkerson. But Wilkerson had some interesting comments about joining Miami. Let's get into the report, and then we'll talk about it more on the other side. This is courtesy of 24/7 Sports. Each time Jaden Wilkerson thought about Miami, his mind went to offensive line coach Alex Mirabal and coach Mario Cristobal. He knows development is a big reason why the Hurricanes wanted him, and Cristobal's background as an offensive line coach paired with Mirabal was ideal. Academics was a big part of it, and Coach Mirabal, I really think he can get me to that next level. Next level, Wilkerson said. He coached, in my eyes, the best tackle in the NFL, which is Penei Sewell. I feel like me learning from him, me getting to work with him every day, and Coach Cristobal being an O-line guy, I thought it was a no-brainer. All right, it was obviously literally a big get for the Hurricanes getting Wilkerson here, but his comments, I think, reveal a big value proposition that Miami brings to the fold. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but first, Miami fans in the comment section below, we're talking O-line, we're talking the guys in the trenches, so give us your favorite Miami Hurricanes offensive lineman of all time and put them in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this new move, this new addition, this new commitment to Miami, and really his comments about Cristobal and the O-line coach as well?
Yeah, Nick, I think this is a big move for Miami because this year, this 2024 class that came in, there's a lot of great commits, recruits coming in. But I would say they were a little bit outshined by all of the transfers coming in as well. And I think those are more short term plays. When you get a guy like Jaden Wilkerson coming in, I think you alluded to it, this is a long term play. This is a guy coming in, he's a smaller recruit. This guy's a 3-star out of the state of Florida. He's from Orlando, Edgewater High School. This guy, he's not bad whatsoever. He's got great size, 6'6", 330. But this guy, he's drowning in that Florida pool of talent. He's probably getting a little bit unfavorable grade to do that, but I think this is a guy who is a good prospect. But he knows where he stands. I think that's important. So many guys get recruited, they commit, they come to a school, they expect, hey, I'm going to be the starter day one. I'm going to play day one. And, if that doesn't happen, they hit the transfer portal, they head out of town. Rarely do you see commits nowadays come to a school and be like, hey, I've seen what Coach Cristobal can do developing offensive linemen. I think he's one of the best developers of offensive linemen in the country, specifically what he did with a guy like Penei Sewell. He said he thought Penei Sewell was one of the best O linemen in or offensive tackles in the NFL right now. I want to learn from that guy. I want to grow from that guy. So I'm going to come in here expecting to come in and learn and grow with this team as they go. I think that's huge for Miami to be able to have recruits like that. Because if you want to win championships, if you want to get through this new brutal, college football landscape, and you're not in the SEC and you're not in the Big Ten, you've got to have a boatload of guys in the trenches and be able to compete. And you have to basically win every single game and win that ACC championship. There's really not much room for error, I think, if you're Miami. I think having a guy like Wilkerson that you can grow and develop is going to help you in those future playoff runs if you're Coach Cristobal.
Yeah, and I think it's important to understand here. I think Wilkerson recognizing this is important, but I put on Wilkerson's tape again. It's high school highlight tape, big grain of salt, big dude, raw. Like he does not look like he's ready for prime time yet. Like he's in high school, I get it. All the physical tools you want in the world, big, strong, can move, but just learning how to use his hands, his body, his feet, it's not there yet. Like he's a high school kid. Would really be impressive if it was. But I think this speaks larger to the strategy that Cristobal and his entire staff is using with the offensive line, but I think he's taking it with other positions as well in terms of building a developmental program. And here's what's really interesting is that the Miami Hurricanes have been one of the best, maybe the best team in college football, focusing on the transfer portal this offseason. There's been a lot of programs that kind of ignore the transfer portal and just focus on developing guys, right? But there's very few programs that can do both. In fact, maybe Ohio State, maybe Alabama, maybe the Georgia, maybe the like the top 3 or 4 teams in the country can try and do both. But Miami is proving that that's going to be part of their strategy, and I think it's the right move Because if you look how the Hurricanes can set themselves up for long-term success, I agree with you. It's developing a long-term incredible strength in the trenches on both sides of the ball. That's why they were recruited so heavily at edge. That's why they recruited so heavily at defensive line. And that's why they're going after offensive linemen as well. But I love the fact they're not going after offensive linemen that are like the ready-made guys. The guys, oh, he's going to be a day one starter. I think those guys are a lot riskier than people want to give them credit for because it's really hard to obviously to play football at that level. And in college, I was an offensive line myself, much lower level at college football. It's really hard as a freshman and even as a sophomore to get your bearings and understand things, especially going from the high school game. But if you have a chance to develop, if you have a chance to kind of figure out what you are and who you are as a collegiate offensive lineman in that scheme, you can really find your own. And then when it's time for you to step up and play, you're 100% ready to go. I think the best programs in college football do a great job trying to develop their offensive linemen, let them figure out the game, not in weeks and months, but in years. And when that time comes, you've got a cohesive unit that's worked together for a long time, that they all know their strengths and weaknesses. I think that's exactly what we're seeing here from Miami. I think it's going to be really important for their long-term success, focusing on the trenches, because I agree with you 100%. Come playoff push time, comes ACC championship time, comes those late games that you got to have. It always turns down to the offensive line, to the defensive line, and that's why it's so important Miami's focusing on those areas.